Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the bell.
Yo, be a father. If not, why bother, son? A boy can make them, but a man can raise one. Be a father to your child. Be a father to your child.
This is KGB.
What up, it's DJ EFN.
And this is your boy Manny Digital. Welcome to the Fatherhoods podcast.
Fatherhood.
Smoother and smoother with each intro.
Manny Digital.
Trying to be the Barry White of this thing, baby.
You're the RZA of the Fatherhoods pod.
Yeah, actually, my Manny Digital name came from, Bobby Digital.
Oh,
That's
okay.
right. That's right.
That's what I meant.
I was wondering where that came from.
Yeah, well, he was an influence for sure, but given my digital advertising background, I just figured the shit just worked. So, boom.
Did you ever listen to the Bobby Digital album?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Didn't he do more than one? The first one was dope. Did he do more than one?
I want to say he did a second one, but that was like years later. But I could
The
be
first
totally
one was
wrong.
dope.
Or at least he was talking about doing a second one. I'll if I remember.
Bobby Digital. That impression. Sorry, RZA.
All right, so I got a question, and Manny, this is probably you're gonna have more insight on this one. Do your kids wild out after they eat sugar?
Damn.
Or you're younger, or like your 5-year-old?
I don't know.
I heard that was a myth. Before you answer, I heard that was a myth by people.
I don't
Definitely
know.
not a myth. At least not in my house.
Well, I guess
Definitely not a myth.
I think it depends because my kids consume a decent amount of sugar on a daily basis. So in my case, there's a consistency in their wilding out that's predictable. So I haven't noticed anything in particular.
Interesting.
I read something scientific that's debunked it supposedly.
Yeah, I've read that too. I definitely read that too, but I just I could see my son's eyes glaze over after a couple, and especially and it kind of depends on the type of sugar. So if it's like some serious, like super refined, like frosting on a cupcake type, like then he starts just going nuts.
Like
Whereas
I don't mean this is a terrible analogy, but I'm going to use it because I don't have a better one. You know how like a dope fiend, how they're like,
oh yeah, for
like
sure,
that, right?
Yeah,
Damn.
just like that, yeah. And he starts. Body starts shaking. He starts moving all over the place and start acting wild. And
I
my
wonder
wife and I are like, "Yo, dude, you can't have no more of that for you."
I wonder if some of these products have caffeine in them that we don't know,
It
or
could
something
be.
like
I
a
don't know.
caffeine.
Well, it brings me to a larger question of just how, and this will be something that you'll have to start taking more into consideration of, but. I don't know, how much do you police what kind of food your kids eat? And if you noticed, differences in when they're eating better versus, like, for instance, my son discovered the school hot lunch, right?
Yeah.
And as much as they want to try to provide nutritional meals and I'm just speaking from a public school standpoint, there's a lot of junk in the food, right? And I started noticing a difference in the way he was acting a little bit and feeling from eating those meals as opposed to eating something from home, where at least we can control a little bit more of what's going into his body.
Right.
But I wonder how. I mean, do you think about that stuff in terms of what you're feeding your kids?
I mean, yeah, right now, we're starting to feed her. Well, we've been for a few weeks now, baby food. Maybe for a month now, and we get the organic baby food, and although we started with like apples and fruits and stuff, we've really been very conscious of introducing a lot of vegetables or vegetable mixtures. But me in general, like even though it says organic on a lot of these things we're buying, I'm still even worried like that it's processed food, period. And
excuse me. I'm always I don't notice too much how the food affects them. I haven't paid that close attention, but I do. I mean, I see extremes. I guess that's the best way I can articulate kind of what it looks like in my world. I'll see crankiness, tiredness from things that have a lack of nutrition. So, for instance, oatmeal is an example. Oatmeal is considered by many like to have a lot of nutrition, but in reality, there isn't a lot there for energy and what have you. So the nutrients that they derive from that are minimal to none in many cases. Now, I like to put like a tablespoon of like almond butter in there to give some protein and some fat in order to help my son, for instance, carry through the day. I'll notice a difference sometimes in his demeanor on his way to school. Like he'll be kind of just like a little zombied out versus when he has this tablespoon, I find him a little bit more talkative and have a little bit more energy. But nothing that's like tipping the scale either way.
When you guys started feeding your kids as babies, did you notice? This is what I'm going through right now. My baby is becoming a food fiend. Like she gets cranky if we're not feeding her. Like she wants to eat anything and everything. If she sees us eat, she gets cranky. She looks back towards the kitchen all the time. If we open a cupboard, she's like looking like, "Oh, you're gonna get me something to eat." And it's like I'm like, "Yo, man, she's like a crackhead right now." Like I know
it's like my cats.
Yeah, my dog does that. Like if I the way I get my dog to come downstairs is I make movement with a bag, and she thinks it's like a dog treat coming out of the bag. She comes running down. My daughter's doing that now, and I'm worried. I'm like, is that normal? Maybe because she's just discovering food, and that's exciting for her, or is it weird? Is it something wrong there that's going on?
No, I think it's probably normal. I mean, she's growing,
Did you guys notice that? I
For
feel
me,
like everything I tell you guys are like, nah, that didn't happen.
For me, it was transitional. Like there wasn't like a moment where, for instance, we switched from compota to hard or some more solid foods, and there was like this big pop. The only significant thing that I can remember where that reaction occurred was, and I mentioned this I think before, in that transitional phase, we went from soft foods, and then we started introducing them into some more solids, and In-N-Out Burger came into play somehow. And I actually have pictures somewhere. His reaction to his first bite of an In-N-Out Burger was classic. It was like a cartoon character. He just went like he just found God or something. So that's the only thing I can relate.
Well, my daughter does that with compota. And for anybody listening not knowing what compota is, and we can't shake it because we're Hispanic, because compota is basically just baby food, the little jars of Gerber baby food or whatever brand. But yeah, if I sit in her high chair and I go to the kitchen, she starts to make a noise like she's cranky, like she knows something, it's coming, but you better hurry up. As soon as she sees the compota, she's like, like she's so excited and happy. And if I turn around and walk away, like, nah, I'm just kidding, she goes nuts.
Oh, man.
So it's already with compota. And then anything now that she can put in her mouth to eat, and she's willing to try everything and anything. Some things you could tell she likes more than others. But in general, she's just excited to eat anything.
That's good, man. My son wasn't super excited about eating. He's got a pretty good appetite, but I mean, that was never like high on his list.
She's in. We gave her first blueberry the other day, and we put it in front of her. She picks it up and she puts it in her mouth and she chews it. And I'm like, yo, and she liked it.
That's good. You could start actually, go. I mean, gradually, but you can go start giving her stuff that kids normally don't want to eat, like a Brussels sprout or broccoli and stuff like that, and they'll latch on quick.
Give her avocado. We feed her.
She
likes it.
What are you gonna do about so you're vegetarian, right?
Pescatarian.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your thoughts in terms of when she starts being able to understand, and talk to you about what she wants to eat, or she sees meat, for example? You're gonna let her eat meat, or you're gonna try to keep her in the same flow that you're on?
The thing is, that's obviously a conversation between me and my girl to equally, decide, at least now that we're controlling the food. I would like to try to not give her meat as long as possible, but make sure we find proteins and things that can substitute for it. And then when the time comes that she maybe wants to have meat or whatever, or my girl maybe thinks she wants to feed her meat, then maybe we discuss it, talk about it, maybe try to get free range stuff and organically fed food or whatever. But Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a tough one, man. I definitely don't want her. I don't want to be the parent that gets the kid hooked on McDonald's or
Right.
burgers or any the stuff that we all grew up on. Like we kind of grew up on that, and then the kids after us, I think, was even worse. So I want her to be more about like yeah, veggies and fruits and more whole foods than meats and fast food. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm gonna definitely try.
And meats, including poultry, right?
Including and even to a degree even seafood now, because
yeah.
seafood is I'm a failed vegetarian. That's why I'm a pescatarian. So now everything. The thing is look, man, I do believe in balance. I feel that just for me, I'm the type of person that I have to exaggerate to get something done, to be in a certain direction. So I don't expect that of other people or my child. We can balance it out. We can give her a little, maybe give her a little meat, give her a little poultry and all that stuff. We try to pick the best kind out there, quality, better said, and but I don't want it to be on the exaggerated side. Where I remember there was times in my life where I was just eating meat. I was eating meat every a couple times a day and having burgers or steaks or chicken or whatever. And when you thought chicken was healthy, oh, we went ham on chicken.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want her to be more on the side of of like veggies and fruits and grains and stuff like that.
You heard that wordplay? Ham on chicken.
I got lyrics.
Yo, this is like a timely and very like there's a lot to talk about when it comes to nutrition because I'm actually in this phase now where I've radically changed the way I eat and provide my body nutrients, and it's a constant debate and not argument but discussion in my household because as unfortunately, and we know this in many respects, but like we're educated in a mass education oftentimes full of non-truths or straight up lies, right? Or misinformation. And so as you're growing up, you're basically just adopting your parents' diet because that's what they know and whatever. But then as you grow older and with the advent of something like YouTube, thank God, you're starting to see different takes on different things, right? And so a lot of it is scare shit where, oh, poultry's fucking poison, run away. And, lettuce is all fucked up, don't touch it. But on the flip, there's a lot of science around how your body operates and what it actually needs to function. And so recently I started on the keto diet or the keto lifestyle of eating. And I got to say, like, this is my third week in it. And I've not with the intention necessarily of dropping weight, but I want to see my abs at some point in my life. And I'm thinking now is probably the time. So
I gave up on that.
so in 3 weeks, I dropped 13 pounds.
Damn.
And it's been basic. And I'm not going to get and preach all about this shit, but it's basically just converting your body from a sugar burning, to
Right.
a fat burning. And surprisingly, you eat a lot of fat in order to achieve that. So in my house now, I'm fortunate that my wife is very supportive. So long as I can explain and show evidence as to what I'm talking about, she's typically on board. It just has to make sense. So we just got home from Costco, and we're going through the aisles trying to figure out what to buy. And she still defaults to things high in sugar, high in carbs, high in fructose, and things like that. And I have to be the voice of reason, be like, we know fructose is bad. Can we try to avoid doing that? And just start picking out little things that we can start to alter the diet that our kids are eating, even if it's not straight up keto. Like, all right, let's just improve now that we have better information.
So your keto diet have any of your kids, are they, not that they're a full keto, but are they eating some of the foods that you're eating, or are you just kind of on an island on your own in the house eating your own meal?
It's kind of 50-50 because the way I see it is, or the way we're going about it is, I don't want them consuming the things that I'm consuming because they have other shit that they enjoy more than many of the things that I eat. But I am allowing them to taste different things so that they can start to understand, with their own palates, how similar they might taste to things that are a lot less beneficial to them. And so I try to make that. So for instance, we just finished making some brownies. The brownies are no sugar, but they're still sweet because there's like natural ways to get the sweetness.
Right. Like
And-
dates and all that.
Yeah, things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Even though dates are not part of this, but still.
Okay, got it.
There's other things. But like when they taste it later, they're gonna be like, holy shit, it tastes like a fucking brownie. Like there's very little difference. So it's an interesting journey, but so far it's been
And
cool.
we got to understand that also children's metabolisms are at a different level than adults, and there's things that would impact our bodies that won't impact theirs as much. But we do want to think about the future of what they're eating and their habits and stuff like that. But we got to be like I wouldn't want to do like I wouldn't want to subject my child to any kind of a diet program.
right.
Right. Yeah.
I just think ultimately at the end of the day, balance is probably the best, thing for a child.
It's definitely the best default, I think, in general.
Yeah.
For
Just
sure.
balance. And then common sense. Like, yes, high fructose and stuff like that. We all know sugar in general, period, is bad. So if you can avoid it or keep it natural sugars, which is obviously fruits and stuff that, most natural foods have sugar in them, but they impact your body differently. That's a common sense thing,
So okay, I know we kind of derailed a little bit, but you were talking about the school dynamic and your son's discovery of lunch in school, and you've noticed like a difference in him.
Yeah, but actually, he ended up getting sick one day from one of the lunches there, and that's the last time he's had lunch there. He's like, I'm gonna have home lunch from now on.
So he decided, like, that scared him enough to say, you know what, I'm not messing with this shit no more.
Yeah, it was with a little bit of our prodding, just saying, because
Got it.
we kept saying he was getting on this whole, I'll just have the hot lunch today. I'll just have the hot lunch. And we were looking at the menus and saying, I don't know about let's give you the home lunch.
Right.
But he wanted the hot lunch. So, and if we gave him the home lunch, he wouldn't eat it. So, you know what I mean? It was just like a tug of war type of thing. And, but we kept saying, well, you know what? Some of this stuff is not that good for you. But he's kind of hard headed. So he has to learn on his own sometimes. So, once he got sick, then we explained to him after he was feeling better, like, see, this is what we were talking about. Some of the food isn't that great for you and it could make you not feel so good. So,
Nah,
yeah.
you guys went full on brainwash at that point. You were like,
Yeah, they
see,
manipulated that.
this is death.
He's gonna look at that school and bro. Oh my God.
And also part of it was, there's a lot of red meat. And so basically with us, I wouldn't put a title to how we eat. I mean, we haven't eaten red meat in years just because it just didn't make us feel good. And so it's not something that we introduced to him. But he has had a couple burgers. He has tried things here and there, and he says, "Oh, I like it." He likes it. And every now and then we'll let him have it. It's just in moderation. Because again, we don't want to totally kill what he likes, but we also as a parent, we also know that, hey, a lot of red meat's not good for you. So, it's not like we're going to prepare it at home either. So like you said, he was just trying to find the balance and letting him also learn how to make some decisions on what he likes and what's good to eat and what's not good to eat.
And the good thing, there's a lot of substitutions for things out there. The only issue that I'm starting to have now is that I'm just thinking to myself, there's so many substitutions and there's so many things that make, like, there's really good substitutions, and I'm just wondering,
Too many damn choices, man.
what's mad science goes behind making this, that because now they can put certified organic and we think it's great, but it could be that it came from organic ingredients, but when they put it in the lab, they did some other magic to it that's not that was man-made. So
What did you read? The CES conference in Vegas, a show about all the new technology. So I saw the headline today that the biggest hit there. So they had like the Samsung folding phones and all that stuff. the biggest hit there was the Impossible Burger 2.0 at the CES show.
Get the
What
fuck
is
out
that?
of here.
No, what is that? I don't even know what that is.
So the Impossible Burger is the plant-based burger that I think it's called Impossible Foods. They made so that it looks like it's bleeding and it looks like a burger, right?
Oh, okay. It's not there's another brand that I buy that's pretty good. I don't know if it's the same one that they
I'm
sell
not.
Whole Foods.
Yeah, there's like two of them, 2 or 3 that are kind of vying for that spot.
Right.
So this is, I guess, their updated version, the 2.0, and that was like the biggest hit at a technology show. It's crazy.
Wow. See, that goes, like, what's I don't know if you guys just said this, but what's that movie, the Soylent Green? What is that? You remember that movie? It's some crazy movie, and then it's like they started feeding these people things that, like, to keep humanity alive because we had ran out of food on the planet. I think that the food that they were giving them is Soylent Green. It was like some stuff. It's what kept people going. And then at the end of the movie, they find out that Soylent Green basically is people, when they die, they turn them into food that they're feeding the population.
Oh, nice.
Oh, my God.
It's some old movie. Check it out. It's like a classic, supposedly.
Nah, I'm good.
Are you ready? You ready for a good segue?
Yeah.
Man, you ready for a good segue?
Let me hear this.
All right. So since we're talking about food and diet, our next guest, he went straight vegan.
Yep.
Let's bring him in and we can talk to him.
So, ready?
Yep.
What's going on? Special guest this week, fellow father, fellow podcaster, legend, Merce in the building. Everybody make some noise. Make some baby noises.
This is where it will insert the baby sound effects.
Great.
Yo, what up, Merce?
What up, y'all? How y'all feeling today?
Good, man. Thanks for joining us.
All right, is everybody spread out across the nation?
Yep.
We are.
Yep.
Where are you at right now?
I'm in Inglewood, in California, on the West Coast.
I don't know why I thought you moved to Arizona at one point or New Mexico, somewhere like that.
I did, yeah. I lived in Tucson for about 6-8 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm back at home now. But yeah, that's when I ran away for a few years.
So we were talking about before we jumped on with you. We were talking about just diets and how kind of conscious we are about the food that we're feeding our kids. And then just so folks know, both E and I know, we've known Merce for a few years, and so we have a little bit more of inside information. But I know that when your wife was recently pregnant, you were on the vegan tip, correct?
Yeah, I've been vegan vegetarian since I was 16. I'm 40.
Oh, wow. Damn. Okay.
So I've been off and on with it.
Off and on,
depending on my finances and whatever. But yeah.
So I seem to remember when we saw you at E's baby shower that you were going pretty hard on the vegan side of things at that point.
Yeah. This is my second marriage, and my wife now is definitely, she's been a vegan for many years as well. So So our baby has never had any meat. Probably, I don't know. If I could help it, he'll have a little bit in his life, but if it's up to her, he never will. So we've been definitely on the vegan tip for a while. I think she was a vegan chef, and
so that helps.
Yeah, that definitely helps.
But yeah, we both decided at a young age. Like when I was 16, I just decided no more. For my 16th birthday, I went into McDonald's, ordered a Big Mac, and I was like, this is the last hamburger I'll ever have, and it was.
And what's your guys' reasons? Because different people have different reasons why they go vegan or vegetarian.
Yeah, man. Forgive me if I cut out because I live in Inglewood, right in the flight path to LAX.
Oh, good.
What are you, Kay's neighbor? He's got the same thing
close.
going down.
Yeah, we're close.
Same flight pattern.
Yeah, it's a fucking ridiculous, man. I try to, tell them to go the other way. They just can't seem to listen now. But yeah, man. For me, it's definitely health. My wife is more like emotions and animals and all that shit. Like when I was vegan earlier, I started to blow up and be like a black vegan rapper. Like PETA used to try to come and interview me, and I used to tell him, I was like, I don't give a fuck about animal rights, man. My niggas is dying in the streets. My homeboy just got his brains blown out. Cops still, I was like, I really don't have time for the rights of animals until we get the rights of my people together.
Ooh.
But I think it's healthy to be vegan. And my wife is more animal rights and health.
So wait, take me back to that day at McDonald's, because you had like a predetermined notion that you were going to quit right after that burger, but what was that trigger?
I mean, well, I guess first it started with Public Enemy. Like, I stopped eating pork when I was like 12 or 11. And I remember my mom telling me, okay, then, because I was like, Chuck D said no pork, Louis Farrakhan said no pork, and, that was the vibe in rap at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. And then she's like, okay, no pepperoni pizza. And I was like, oh, shit, fuck, for real? I thought they just meant no pork chops, because pork is pork chops. I
Right.
thought pork was ham and pepperoni and sausage. I was like, oh, shit. And I just I was like, fuck. I still, I was in my preteen stage, so I was super defiant. So when she said it like I was on crack, I was like, hell no, fuck it.
Mm.
No
And I
swine.
quit fish. I quit fish, and then someone told me one day that, I had dreads when I was 16, and I was like running around with all these fucking weirdo, like Rasta wannabe religious zealot motherfuckers are like, yo, when Elvis died, he had, conspiracy theorists, because we were all preparing for, what did 4 years left, Busta Rhymes, the whole end of the world, 5%.
Doomsday.
Yeah, so that, so the conspiracy theories, like, beef is bad for you, they injected with all the stuff. I had heard that, and then it was like, when Elvis died, there was like 7 pounds of beef stuck in his colon.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, man. And like, your body can't, it takes 7 years to digest one hamburger or one steak. And I was like, and then, I was just in the process of believing everything that somebody with dreads and, some fucking frankincense oil told me. I was like, oh, well, that's it for me then. So that was a wrap. And, so I haven't had beef, 20 plus years, fish, same.
And
Chicken I've been on and off with.
are your kids dairy free too?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I'm allergic to dairy. I've always, I didn't find out till I was 23, but I've always had like severe stomach issues, and I've had like situations where I was shitting blood, and like I've had colonoscopies when I was younger, and no one knew what was wrong with me. So then I just cut out dairy. And I was like, oh shit. And then my aunt, who I hadn't seen in years, my father's side of the family is estranged, and she's like, I was vegan when I finally was reintroduced to her, and she was like, so you're still allergic to milk? And I was like, what?
Oh.
She's like, yeah, that was like the one thing your dad remembered about you, because my dad has been estranged since I was 3. But he would always, that was like, when a dad has facts,
Right.
that, dads that aren't present have like 1 or 2 facts they know about their kids that they never see. Oh, he loved that baseball.
Right.
So his thing was like, my baby boy can't have no dairy. And she's like, yeah, your dad always said that. So I called my mom immediately. And I was like, so I've been allergic to dairy my whole life? She's like, oh, you're just lactose intolerant. I'm like, no. And so yeah, my kids are definitely dairy free.
And how many kids? I was just about to say, how many kids do you have?
So this gets tricky. I like all the way to thinking, I can't talk about it fully, but at one time I did adopt or had custody of a teenager from foster care. That didn't work out for various reasons, but legally I can't speak on it too much.
Okay.
But God bless him. And any child in the foster care system, because it's a real trying journey. And then I have a child I adopted with my ex-wife. When he was 2 days old, we adopted him. That's what I say is my oldest son. Mm-hmm. And my wife and I were pregnant in 2017, and after 10 months, the baby was stillborn. And that was our first son. And then we got pregnant about 4 months after he died, and that's my son now. So living and custody-wise, I have 2.
And your oldest son, is he living with you guys full time, or is he back and forth with your ex-wife?
Back and forth. He's with my ex-wife in Arizona.
Okay.
So we try to. He just started kindergarten. Before kindergarten, I would just bring him. I do almost every other month thing with his mom. He just happens to be for a month, and then just pick him up all. But when he started school, I get him all the breaks, and then I try to go down for 1 week every month. We get an Airbnb and kind of just fit into his routine. And as a overparenting black father. You know, it's important to me to like show, because he's in Tucson, he's in Arizona. So it's important to me as a black man to show up and drop him off at school at least 5 days out of every month.
Yep.
So they know he has a black male present in his life. And my ex-wife has a boyfriend now that picks him up as well.
Okay.
He's a solid dude.
So let me ask you, what led you to down the adoption road? Because that's not something that you hear often. At least I don't. And at least in my dealings with folks and circle of friends, you know, I've never really heard of too many folks going down the road of adoption. I know, E, that we talked about this on previous episodes, that'd be something that you might consider.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah. What was the science behind that?
It was my ex-wife. She kind of spearheaded the whole thing, and for me, I got to a point when I started getting rap money. I felt really like, I don't know if it's, you know, maybe survivor's guilt or whatever, but I felt like I needed to give back. That's why I started my festival paid dues, and I felt like rap is such a self-serving, self-centered thing, so I was trying to start a not-for-profit. And when I met her, she was involved in not-for-profit. And then when she started talking about adoption, I think it has something to do with her family. Her family does it a lot. I was like, well, this is the best way to give back, is to take the kids, especially young black kids that nobody wants, before they become, quote unquote, America's worst nightmare, you know, instead of, you know, because I started to volunteer with a lot of people who I know who are in community service and whatnot, and not-for-profits. They say what's great for kids is consistency. And being a rapper, like I would visit a high school, but I couldn't really keep up with the kids. I couldn't come back regularly. So I'd be inconsistent. So I said, well, this is the way I can give back and be consistent. And instead of trying to change 100 lives, I can focus on changing 1 or 2 and maybe inspire other people to do the same. Because if every rapper or well-to-do black family took 1 black child in, we'd be a lot better as a community. So we did that. We went to Ethiopia and looked, and we were volunteering in orphanages there and actually meeting the kids. And it's a crazy story how we ended up with our son. But we did not want a baby. We wanted a teenager, the kids that nobody wanted. And one day we got a call like, yo, do you guys still want this baby? We're like, what? They're like, yeah, the baby was born. The mother picked you out of, you know, we had to turn in these life books to all these agencies, like with pictures of our marriage and our story. And they're like, yeah, the mother picked your life book out 7 months ago. Nobody called you. We're like, fuck no. They're like, well, if you don't get to North Carolina from Arizona in 48 hours, the baby's going into foster care.
Wow.
And I was like, I guess we got a baby.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now,
the funny thing is we had just left the marriage counselor. He said the last thing you guys need to do is have a child.
Oh shit.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's even crazier.
Now, were you guys specific with looking for boys versus girls, or were you just open to?
No, we're just open to anything.
Okay.
You know, to be completely like, you know, I guess racist. I definitely wanted a quote exotic, like red hair, blue eyed child.
Dope.
I would love to have like a red hair, little white kid running around my house. I think they are the most adorable little babies I've ever seen in my life. So to Alina said, we were open to anything.
Okay.
And, we got and it was fucked up. Like the system went along. Like we got offers for kids, and the kids we got approved for 4.
Making it sound like you got coupons and shit, man.
Yeah, they were like, when you're approved, like, 'cause you have to go through so much to get approved.
Right.
Like once you're approved, you're a hot item. Like you're a sexy bitch at the dance. So it was like,
and you being a rapper didn't screw anything up in the approval process?
There's still a weird gray area in America where if you're not Snoop Dogg or Jay-Z, and mostly just Snoop Dogg, white people have no idea who you are.
Well,
So
I'm not saying
rapper,
about knowing. I'm just saying, like, for some reason, I feel that the adoption process frowns upon entertainers, period.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I'm saying. Like they don't, when I put down entertainer, they automatically assume, even though my wife had no job, they would assume that my wife worked and I just rapped as a hobby. And I was a lazy black dude that smoked blunts and played video games. Or we were on government assistance. They don't really care how much you make. That's the thing about foster. They don't care how much you make. as long as you don't have any felonies and you do all their bullshit courses and paperwork, you're good to go.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, I think I just slid under the radar. They're like, okay, you're a rapper, you're a musician, whatever. Like, as long as you're not, like I said, as long as it's not a red flag, if they could look me up and go, oh, you're Young Jeezy, or you're Rick Ross, or you talk about brandishing firearms, or, you know,
Right.
I just didn't exist to them, and it wasn't real. So whatever they thought I had a day job or that I lived off my wife most of the
So
time.
they don't ask you like what's your stage name and then research you basically,
Not at all.
which they probably should.
Yeah, that's what, like, this system is fucked up.
They're just clocking in and clocking out. This is what they're doing.
Clocking in, but you know, they're making sure the children, and I don't say it's not fucked up. They're making sure the children are safe.
Right.
If you're not a pedophile, or you know what I mean, you have
Right.
no prior. Because also, like, a black male by the age I was 36, 35. If I'm a black male by the age of 35 and I don't have any priors, I'm probably not going to collect it. If I'm not already into dope and guns and beating up people and women and whatever, I'm probably not going to pick that habit up at 35 years old.
Right. Makes sense.
So I think it was a pretty safe. So they're just like, you have income, you pay your taxes, you can prove it. You know, and also at the time I was still running paid dues, so I had a really successful music festival. So I think they also looked at that heavy. Like, oh, he's a concert promoter, or,
Right.
you know.
Right.
But never once did they ask if, you know, and the beauty about the type of music I make, if we ever did run into somebody, they were a fan and they knew what the kind of music I make.
Right.
So they were even more, I would say, aroused, enthused.
Aroused is
So-
fine.
Yeah. It's a little weird, but okay.
They got a fucking, you know, humanitarian boner.
So once you've got the baby home, I mean, how did that feel, just in terms of the bonding experience with an adopted child? I'm curious of how that went down for you.
Man, it was crazy because we didn't want a baby. I know that I don't have the patience for babies and never really cared for babies, and I did not. I tell people all the time, I did not like my son at all. I loved him, you know what I mean? But I was like, this is fucking hard. And luckily, I have two homeboys that tell me, like, a lot of people I met, like, oh, babies are the best. I love it. I'm a dad. It's the best thing. I looked into the kids' eyes and I had this moment and my whole world changed. None of that shit ever happened with me with both my kids. Babies are fucking annoying, selfish. They're babies. They're not the best fucking humans.
Right.
You know, because we're evolved species, we have the luxury or pleasure of raising our child. They don't have to come out the womb walking because we have no predators. Every other animal that could be preyed upon can get out, walk, eat. There's no time for this baby, change my ass, you know, try to figure out why I'm crying bullshit. Because if you're prey, you cry, you're dead. So you're not born helpless, you know?
Right.
We have the benefit of being top of the food chain, so we get these motherfuckers that need us to do every fucking thing for them. And it drove me. We had to fly to North Carolina. I had to live in a hotel for 3 weeks. And shout out to Ninth Wonder for having a Marriott plug, because out of nowhere we had to, you know, they were like, get here in 48 hours, but they're also like, come up with our $28K to pay the fees for this baby as well.
God damn, is that much?
And yeah.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Fuck.
So I was like, yo, like, in all the classes we went through before, and that's why I always just, you know, in many fights being an asshole, you know, I was like, yo, like, you're lucky you have a dude that could just, at the drop of a hat, be like, oh yeah, I got $28K.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, run that. We'll take that. You know, I got it, no problem. Oh, I got 3 weeks in the Marriott, a suite, so that because we had to do bottles and everything with a newborn in a fucking hotel room. And like the neighbors hated it. So every time he cried, we have to get out, but it's, you know, late October in North Carolina, it's freezing. So we have to wrap the baby up, get in the car and drive around till he's quiet so we don't wake up the neighbors. He's, you know, used to getting fed when he wants. He's been, you know, on the umbilical cord, so he's been fed all the time. So when we can't get the bottle right, and it's too warm, it's too hot, it's too cold, he's screaming even more. It was, and then we're not his mother. You know, we don't have familiar smell, the voice, none of that shit. So it was
yeah, that must have been hectic.
Man, so I got thrown into the worst. I don't say the worst, but the best part. And we rolled through it, man.
So this is
it was a lot.
This is fresh out of marriage counseling, where y'all knew, I guess, things were on the fritz already, and then y'all decided, you know what, we got this opportunity, regardless of where we going, we still want to do this.
Yeah, as human beings, I'm like, well, we got into this to get kids out of the system. Like when they were like, oh, another kid goes into the system, And we
Right.
disappoint this mother who's been carrying this baby for 4 or 5 months, thinking that we're the parents, looking at our pictures. You know, like there's just no choice whether we stay together or not. This baby is supposed to be with us, you know? Or this baby definitely doesn't deserve to go to foster care.
Is there any contact with the mother? The biological?
Yeah. Yeah, she wanted a closed adoption, but we kind of talked to her and tried to convince her to have an open adoption. But for me, now that I've lost and I've lost a child, I know how hard it is and maybe why she doesn't keep in contact as much. And also being a parent that can't see my kid every day because he's in Arizona, I know how that pain bothers me.
Right.
So I didn't, you know. So we kind of, I think we talked her into it because we thought it was a cool idea, but in reality, it's probably pretty hard for her, you know, to watch. But she was her kids. She had 2 kids. She was in nursing school. We have 5 days for the mother to change her mind, 5 to 7 days, I think, depending on the state. And so on the 5th or 7th day, you have to bring the child back to the mother's house. She has to see you guys, and then say, "Okay, go ahead," you know.
Wow.
And so we went to her house. You know, it wasn't like some ghetto project mess. It was a really nice home. She had 2 kids that came out to meet us. They were very well behaved and well kept. And, you know, the little boy had a fresh fade. The girl, they're dressed well. She was like, I couldn't do my best for a 3rd kid. I didn't know I was pregnant until like the 4th or 5th month. And when I got it, it felt like God was telling me this baby was for you guys.
Wow.
And
Wow. That's intense.
so we weren't, you know, taking him out of a distress. It was just a rational adult. She was 30-something. She was like,
Right.
I'm in nursing school. I'm almost done. I'm struggling. These 2 kids, their fathers aren't in their lives. I can't do it. And she had someone that she really loved. He was locked up. She was waiting for him to come home. She's like, my man's coming home in a couple years. I want to be ready. This is all I can do. She was at her limit. And she asked for help. And I think that's the beauty of community. And so it was a blessing that for her, for us, and hopefully a blessing to her, that we were able to receive. And she felt like she was ready to give, and it wasn't a painful, you know, I wish I could keep him, but I can't type of thing. It was more like,
Right.
I know that he'll get, I'm doing, it was very, very
She knew
noble.
what was the right thing.
Yeah. And we
For
were
them.
able to be the right people, you know?
Right.
And so that was, but yeah, like I had no idea what I was getting into, except I had a couple friends that would tell me, like, you know, I had one friend that was like, it's hell. And he was just like, that's why I smoke so much weed. The babies are a fucking headache. And then my other friend would tell me, like, you know, I got on the phone with him when they talked. He's like, hold on. And he talks to his son like I talk. He's like, motherfucker, if you don't shut the fuck up. He's like, man, I love my son, but this motherfucker's a fucking asshole. And I remember like, who talks to a baby like that? But me and him are so similar in temperament that when I started talking to my baby like that, I didn't feel like a psychopath. I felt like, okay. Because I know that he loves his son. Like, you know, he would do it. He'd die, kill for his son. But it's just that phase. He's like, man, he's like, it's just till they start walking and talking, it's really difficult for me.
So at what point did you start to feel connected to your son, or at what age, basically?
Around 10 months. I told my wife now because we were approaching 10 months with our baby. And I just remember looking at my son and being like, yo, I fuck with you. And he said something like, fuck. And I was like, yeah. We had been through a long, you know, because also I'm not a dad that had to go back to work. I was able to like cancel everything and stay home.
Right.
Luckily, you know, I had to do a European tour for like 3 weeks and I came back. And I had not been drinking either for years. And I started drinking whiskey again. It was like, I didn't do whiskey, alcohol, coffee, nothing. All that came with the kid. And I was like, man,
the coping
is
package.
Crazy. Yeah, man. I was like, this is why dads drink whiskey. This is why dudes smoke cigars. Like, this shit is fucking hard.
A lot of things
shit,
make
man.
sense now.
Yeah. It was like, okay, I need this. No,
Like now I understand why people go to bars by themselves. I never understood that. Now I'm like, I get it. I get it.
Yo, that's so funny. I do that shit, and I'm looking around like it's all normal. You're right.
Yeah.
Like that arch in your back, like looking at the glass, like that's not a look of like this. That's like peace. That's like meditative. Like you're meditating. Like it's like meditative. Like it's fuck, man. I really, yeah. So I get it now. And then when we had to go on tour, I felt like I was leaving my wife in like a lurch with a fucking psychopath. And the same thing with my son now. I had to go on a Canadian tour a couple weeks ago. I feel so bad for my wife. Like, you're alone with this psychopathic lunatic baby motherfucker that's fucking ruining your life every day. And, you know, and I'm not there to have your back. I'm paying the bills, but shit. I know she wishes she could get on stage and go rap and leave me with this crazy son of a.
Yeah, I don't feel so bad that I've called my baby demon spawn.
Man, nah, they don't. I always tell them I do not like you, but I love the fuck out of you. And I can't. And I know now, like, it's just temporary. Like, when I got to that 10th month, like, me and my son are, to this day, I would say we're like best friends. Like, you know, like but I'm not a normal parent. Like, we fuck shit, motherfucker. We play Fortnite together. Like, he's going to call me today because he can't play video games on the weekdays at his mom's house. So Friday, Saturday, he'll call me and tell me log on and we'll play Fortnite.
He's 6 or 7?
He's 6, so he's the only 6-year-old I know that's allowed to play that game.
Got it.
That's another parent. If it was my choice, I probably wouldn't have done it. But it was a choice his mother made because he has something like a stepbrother now who plays it, so he wanted to play it. And I gave him a Switch, and then the older brother put it on his thing. So, you know, it's like I can't tell him no now.
Yeah.
Because that would make him even more attracted to it. So I was like, well, the best thing I do is just start playing it with you.
Well, what I thought was cool is, sorry, man. I'll just say what I thought was cool was seeing you a couple of years ago at Soundset, and your son was backstage with you before your performance, and he was just hanging out with everyone.
Yeah, he goes everywhere. I don't know. There's a few rappers he likes, but like, we tried to watch Future. I think that year it didn't work out.
Yeah.
First year when he got to see Wiz Khalifa and whatever his fucking song, one of the last big hits he had. I don't know, whatever it was, some turn up, whatever the fuck. I'm the boy or I'm the man, or whoever the fuck, whatever the fuck that shit was. But you know, like how like those kind of songs are like simple enough that a toddler can get it. So that was his fucking jam at 2 years old. I remember like Wiz looking over at him like, holy shit, this kid is going. I'm like, yeah. We Them Boys. That's what it is. That was,
okay.
We Them Boys, yeah.
We them boys. So me and his other brother at the time, we would all, you know, play that in the car, and taking the oldest at the time, the other foster kid that was with us to school, and we would play We Them Boys all the time. So when that shit came on live, it was like he lost his mind, his toddler mind.
That's dope. You mentioned earlier like the lack of a father that you had, and so and then you also mentioned, you know, when with your son that lives in Arizona, how important you find it to be to represent, you know, him as a black man, black father, taking him to school and that kind of thing. Does one have any correlation with the other? So your personal lack of a father, has that strengthened your position to be even more present in the lives of your children?
Oh, for sure, man. For sure. It's like that, you know, I'm addicted to like being a mentor, also, you know, because the lack of also leaders in my community. Like, I recently have been through like starting paid dues and like mentoring people, and like, you know, from like, you know, Curtis King, Noah James, Absol, Kendrick, lots of rappers when they were like nothing in LA, like slid in my DMs, and I would do my best. There's a kid I mentor now named Cody, and he has a brand called Erla, and he works for FTP, and he does all the streetwear stuff. But when he was 13, he DM'd me. He's like, yo, I live on Crenshaw Slauson. I got this t-shirt company. I want you to wear it. I just drove to his house and picked up and bought the t-shirt. You know, met his mom. And I was like, whatever you need. Like,
That's dope.
I'm just, none of the rappers coming up on this side, on this coast, like really ever looked out for me, except for the Mystic Journeyman in the Bay. But that was by the time I was 18. But there was just no one reaching out to work with us. Everyone was trying to get on and fuck everyone else, you know? So when I got on, I always wanted to help. And then so that's how I feel about hip hop. And when my personal family is even, it's tenfold. And I think that I'm not the only one. I think my lack of a father supercharged me and everyone in my generation, because the stats are saying now that black fathers are overparenting, and sometimes to the point at the detriment to their marriage. Like, fuck my partner, I'm here for this kid. And it's, you know, there's a lot of messaging now in the community about you got to be a husband too.
Oh wow, that's news to me.
That makes a lot of sense though.
So we're like, you know, yeah. So I feel like I'm overparent. You know, like I fly down if I can't go. You know, I fly my wife and the baby down. Then I drive my minivan 8 hours, so we don't have to rent a car for a week. Then we rent an Airbnb, which is like $2,000 a week. So, you know, I spend a lot of money. That's my gold chain, is like overparenting or parenting. You know, I don't know if it's overparenting.
That's a quote.
Yeah,
that's a t-shirt.
That's
Fuck
my
a
goal.
quote.
Overparenting.
Yeah.
Hey,
People will be like, yo, how do you get your son? I'm like, yo, I buy a ticket, then I fly down, and his mom drops him off at the airport, and we turn around, catch the next flight back to LA. Then we stay here, then I fly him back, and then I fly back. You know, that's 4, I don't even 6 plane tickets.
Shit.
Yeah. And how does your oldest son get along with your wife? What's their relationship like?
Man, that's one thing. It's definitely a struggle. As any step parent knows, it's a struggle for her. It's a struggle for him. He definitely goes through a lot with, his parents splitting up. Like his mom is seeing someone else. I'm of course married to someone else, but it's just really, really difficult for him. But he's a soldier. And I think that's also the bad part about me not having a father is because any kind of complications he's having, I may just gloss over. I try not to, but I'm like, yo, I grew up seeing my dad beat the shit out of my mom. My stepdad beat the shit out of my mom, Mm-hmm. So you dealing with two parents that chose to live separately, and you get to see them both. Like I've part of me is like, I don't really feel your sob story, but you're good. You'll be all right,
Right.
But maybe not. Like, 'cause I don't. It's still a struggle for my wife was a kid that went back and forth between the parents, so she tries to educate me and remind me on some of the difficulties he's having and is going to have. But I'm just not familiar with the struggle. And I have another friend that's a parent, and he has kids that he's taking care of, and they weren't his, and he raised them since they were 4. And then he got one into college. She went and got pregnant the first semester, then got pregnant again. The other one, he got him into a good college. He flunked out the first semester, got him back in. He flunked out again. And he's like, man. And he's like, but these kids had no struggle. I gave them everything I didn't have, but I didn't know how. Like, for lack of a better term, we don't know how to raise white kids. Like, I know how to raise, like my experience is like survival, making something out of nothing. Like, I could teach you a lot of things, but I can't teach you how to deal with a normal life, unfortunately.
Right. That's actually an interesting point. That's a whole different ball game.
Yeah. And I'm like, my kid I have to remind like, you're basically a white boy. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, I'm supposed to, like, you're the kid that can cuss at home, has his own bedroom, has a Nintendo, a PlayStation, an Xbox, You've been all over the country already. My baby has already been to St. Bart's at 6 months old. He has a passport. Like,
right.
And does your oldest feel connected to his brother, his younger brother, or what's that?
Oh yeah, yeah. He was like, I think a lot of maybe some parents have also felt that like, that's my baby, like that's my brother. Like she may be like even when she was carrying like, and that was another thing for my son in the midst of going through a divorce, he had to go through me telling him, your baby brother's coming, his name is Optimus, he's coming, we have a baby shower, Optimus is party Bob, and I had to call him and tell him, yo, Optimus is dead. And then what does that mean? And then like his mom calling me from Arizona and like, yo, he just woke up screaming for his brother in the middle of the night.
Wow.
Like a month along with divorce, along with at the same time, because we were trying to explain to him how birth works. He was like, oh, so I was in my mom's tummy. And then we had to explain to him, oh, not only is your brother dead, your parents are divorced, but you're also adopted. And that's
right.
Wow. Dude, that's a lot.
It is a lot to handle.
So this dude is a fucking G. Like so he's dealing with a lot. And I think he's good, but and then this year he started Spanish immersion school. So we're like, yeah, here, go learn another language while you're at it.
Right.
Yeah, do something else at him.
Like you need, so if he, once he gets to 3rd grade, he'll be ready to raise me.
Dope. What's your biggest struggle right now, Merce, as far as you said your current son, I believe you said, is 6 months old?
He's 9 months.
He's 9 months. What's your biggest struggle? Or do you think you're over like the struggle stage that we were talking about earlier?
No, I'm still deep in it.
Mm-hmm.
He's breastfeeding, which is different than my other kid. And then for the record, too, for anyone thinking that adopting, like I have people say this to me, and people like having a baby die, people sometimes say the wrong thing, and that's cool. And even having an adopted son, like people would tell me like, yo, but when you have one that's your own, it's going to be different. And there was no fucking difference. I had the same blank ass, okay, I got to take care of this motherfucker stare when I hold it in my arm. I was like, and to this point, I still feel no more connected to this child than I did my adopted son. So if anyone's thinking about adopting, I know a lot of guys like, I want one that's mine. Yeah. Bro, there is no fucking difference. Where you earn your kid is these months right now. This is what builds the fucking bond to me. Because man, like this, you know, after someone takes you through this and you can still love them after all the things a baby puts you through. And same thing for the baby after everything we put them through, you know, because they know exactly what they want. We just don't know how to understand them.
Right.
This is
the
the
language
bond
barrier.
happens. Yeah. When, you know, we're not that much smarter than them. I don't ever think that.
But
No, sometimes I
you
think
know.
my daughter's smarter than me.
Yeah, word.
but I think that's
After I finish it.
that point that
ahead.
you just raised is actually the biggest thing. It's like, yeah, there may not be a big difference between your own kid and a child that you adopt, but it's how early you get them. Because if you can go through this
Yeah.
developmental phase with them, I agree. I can't see very much difference in those
But
two
there
scenarios.
also has to be if you're a normal human being decides to take on that responsibility, then that's kind of equaling the playing field. Like you've decided, I'm taking responsibility for this human being.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And that's, I never, you know, especially in the hood, like dudes will make fun of dudes like, oh, that nigga taking care of that kid, ain't even his, blah, 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 blah. Or, you know, like when someone's with someone, you know, when you raise a kid and then you break up with the mom, but dad, even though it's not your kid, you still want to be involved. I get that now. You know, there's a lot of judgment around that. Like, oh, okay, that wasn't even this kid. Why he still do this? Because when you're going through that, the you know, the struggle, as you said, like, man, you build a bond. So we're still, just for a positive way to put it, like me and my 9-month-old are still building a bond. And since he's breastfeeding, I think it'll be a little bit more time before we get on, you know, get to a point where we like each other.
Get good.
Yeah, get good, you know.
Start playing Fortnite at 4 years old, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. We got some stuff. We got to figure out something. Because, you know, like with the vegan mom, you get like no TV, no sugar. Like we can't bond over cookies.
Yo, Mormon? What the hell's going on over there?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like a, you know, no cake and no ice cream. No, so we're trying to. We'll get. Well, you know, he can't throw a ball yet. So we, you know, going outside is not. We go on walks and, you know, after all we've been through, it's real. It's a struggle, I think, for me to let go, maybe even for my wife to let go. So, like, you know, I get to take him out by myself for about 2 hours, and I got to bring him back.
Yeah, we got to fix that sugar thing because at the open of this episode, I was talking about some brownies that we made in my house here in New York that are like they follow like the keto lifestyle, and then I'm pretty sure they're all vegan and the sugar ain't sugar. So I might have to slide you that, and I might have to get some of that back in there.
Something sweet that's not
real sugar,
fructose or pure processed sugar. I could maybe swing that. I think, but I also think he's just gonna have a big ass Brussels sprout for his first birthday.
With a candle on it.
Yeah, candle and Brussels sprout. Wow. sun dried water ice cream. Or something. That's, you know, it'll be a good thing to get to a year, I think. You know, when they can walk is also a little bit, you know, a lot of people say, you don't want them to walk because then you chase them. I'd rather chase a kid around than have to carry a kid around.
Yeah.
Facts.
Like, don't touch that.
I'm looking forward to walking and talking. So like the communication is better.
Communication, especially for people I think that are into like rap, because it's such a communicative like culture. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
There's like 50,000 words in a fucking rap album and 1,000 in a rock album. Like, we're used to hearing we want a lot of talking out of our people that are close to us, I think. I can't wait till he has something to say.
How were you able to adjust? I'm sure you haven't fully adjusted, but how are you able to adjust from when you and your ex split, from seeing your son every day to, you know, not seeing him every day, which a lot of guys go through?
I cried every fucking day, man. Like, I've lost friends. Like I said, you know, I buried my father, my stepfather. You know, homies has gotten shot. Homies has gotten car accidents. Like, I've dealt with loss a lot. And there's nothing like the pain I felt. Well, and then burying my own kid. And for me, you know, some people feel it's out of line, but it's a very similar pain to like losing a child. Even though I can call them on FaceTime, it's just not the same. And you know, if you're being honest, like, no disrespect to my ex-wife, I think she's a great parent. I'm sure she is, but it's like, I think I'm the best rapper in the world. I think I'm the fucking best parent in the world. You know,
Right.
It's not true, but I feel that way. So when my son's not with me, I don't think he's, you know,
He's getting what he needs, right?
Right. I know he's getting what he needs. Without a doubt, I would have never left him there if that was the case.
But I mean,
you know?
getting what he needs from a father aspect,
From a father, yeah. And she
yeah.
has a solid dude that's around now. He's a good dude. He's raised 3 good boys, so I'm really happy about that. And I'm in a position where I had his phone number. He picks my son up from school. I can reach out to him and FaceTime my son. He'll reach out to me like, yo, has he seen Spider-Man? Because we're about to go see it with the boys, but I don't want to see it with. I don't want to leave him out. If you guys aren't going to see it, we'll wait to see it till he gets back. Like, there's a real good rapport.
Oh, that's dope.
So we don't have, he had a breakdance this summer. He was in a breakdancing class, and his recital, all of his cousins from his stepdad or his mom's boyfriend's family came, and all of my family came. It was he feels supported from both sides. So he's not lacking, but just like I said, my ego is like, yo, and even him, he's like, I want to see my dad every day. And it's hard for him to go back and forth.
Is there ever any awkward time when you guys do get to finally see each other and you're in the same room? Any kind of awkwardness?
Like readjusting period?
Yeah. Nah.
That's good. Yeah.
It's and I think about when I start to complain and whine and get down. Like, I think about, like, Miles Davis, who had who knows how many kids, and he was like, just being on the road is hard. Like, but he had to be like, okay, yeah, I'm in France for 3 months. Here's a postcard, maybe a phone call, and I get to literally FaceTime my kid from anywhere in the world. Like, he doesn't have it that bad, and I don't have it that bad. And then I think the FaceTime, Fortnite, whatever it is, it helps him. We stay linked. Mm-hmm. So whenever I see him, he jumps on me, we hug, we kiss, and it's a pretty seamless trend. We pick up where we left off.
How do you feel from the hip hop angle, how do you feel about the potential for your kids to follow in your footsteps? How do you look at that?
Man, I'm so stoked on it. Like, he's everything he's ever wanted to be. I want to be a football player and a rapper, a fireman and a rapper. He's never not wanted to be a rapper since he could talk. And I don't think he knows what that means,
right? Being
a rapper, but he wants to be like, he always says, like, it's funny because, like, people would think we look alike because we both have dreads and he's my son, and, so I don't ever correct people, but he's adopted and he'll still be like, when I was a baby, I was like you. Right now, I'm like you were when you were this age. He wants to be like me.
Yeah, you're his idol.
And that feels great, man. Because I didn't have that. And I had a lot of people I put that kind of faith in that let me down. And so to know that I'm an upstanding guy and it's a good thing for him to want to be like me. And also he doesn't have, and music has changed so much where, like I said, I don't want my kid in this business because these are guys that are hooked on drugs, cheated on their wives and whatever. I don't want this life for them, or being taken advantage of business-wise and sign shitty contracts. Like, I have a great job. I've never been in a business situation that I couldn't manage. I've been able to provide for my family. I know how to work the music business, and it's only gotten more artist-friendly. So if this is really what he wants to do, then fine. And I could teach him how to do it. To me, was as Spin Magazine once put it, like, as a blue-collar rapper.
Right.
To me, was somebody where you can keep your sanity. Because when we talked before, I left L.A. at the height of my career because I couldn't deal with it because I'm not built to be a liar or a cheater or a fucking people pleaser or a scumbag. And that's how you succeed in this most. You can't get to that level in the game without having to bow down or do something to compromise your manhood and integrity. And some people think the sacrifice is worth it. I just wasn't. It wasn't worth it to me. Some people don't sacrifice their integrity or their manhood, but you sacrifice your freedom because you end up being a real nigga and you end up beating somebody's ass, shooting somebody, and going to jail. Because that's what this industry will push you towards. And it forced me to carve out another way. And it was a way that I had before I signed to Warner Brothers. I just returned to it. Cause you can live in Tucson, and that's the beauty of Tech Nine and Atmosphere, because they live in Minnesota and Kansas City, where they can make a living off of music and live very well because it's not the high overhead of trying to be a star in LA or New York or Miami or Atlanta. And so I can teach my son that, like, cool, be a rapper, live in Anchorage, Alaska, put your music on Spotify, tour like this. I can teach him how to do it if this is what he chooses to do, but he won't choose. Like, when we had the foster kid with us, he was choosing to rap, and I was like, make sure this is because of what you want to do. And if you're gonna rap in this house, you're gonna know all the elements. You're gonna know, you're an artist because you have a message. You're not an artist because you want to make money. Art is not a tool for financial success. It could be a tool to support your life, but it's not a tool to make you rich. It's not a tool to make you famous. And so, I think I'm giving my son an understanding of that because he's not growing up seeing me rock arenas. He wants to be a rapper because he sees me do shows and listens to me while, we used to drive from Arizona when I was getting my divorce. We used to drive 8 hours back and forth, no TV, no iPad, and I would just play beats, and I would be writing in my head while I drove, and I would write with him. So much so that when we got to the studio, and he'd be like, no, you forgot to say, and motherfuckers don't know. Oh, shit. It's like, pop, you said it like this, because he was in the car with me, and we just rap.
So y'all co-creating on an 8-hour trip. That's ill.
Yeah, we're
he's
just playing.
He's ghostwriting for you. Let me find out.
yeah, right. It never fails. When I was got in advance, like when he was younger, I'd be like, okay, here's the microphone. What do you want to say? He'd be like, bitch, fuck. And then he'd be like, go kick your rap. He'd be like, fuck. And now he'll be like, my name is Bishop, and I bust school, and Spider-Man is the best. And that's his rap.
Right.
But before, it was a lot of excellence. So he's grown out of his gangster rap phase.
What about the podcast game? So you got, you're working with Cookbook on the Felipe's Garage, I know. How's that world, and how does that affect your kid? Because he knows you as a rapper. Does he disassociate you as a podcaster as well?
I don't think he knows what a podcast is. Well, we listen to a podcast. If anyone can help me get this back on there, there's an amazing podcast for kids called This Podcast Has Fleas.
Oh, yeah, I heard you guys talk about it on Felipe's.
Man, bro. So he got into podcast through that, and he would, when I do Felipe's Garage, because my wife has a baby, he has to go everywhere with me, so she's not overwhelmed. So we'd be 10 p.m. in Felipe's Garage. It was at my homeboy DJ Hydro's house. And I just, I give him the switch and say, play that, or you can listen to what we're talking about. And so he's been on a couple episodes, so he gets it, but he doesn't get, I don't think, what it is. But to him, like, he thinks that Cookbook is my only friend. Because the only time he sees his dad like talk to another man and like hang out, Because I don't call my homies on the phone. I don't have lots of homies come over. So he's like, Dad, you have one friend. I was like, who? He's like, Cookbook. I was like, all right. So for him, it's just me and my one friend in the world. We get together once a week and we do this thing.
Shout out Cookbook, the only friend of Merce.
Basically described a podcast, though. That's what it is.
Yeah, maybe he has an understanding of the podcast game that we don't.
It's true.
That's how I kind of look. That's how I was like, it's just a way for me to do something once a week because I'm really bad at keeping friends and keeping in touch with people. But if I can make it center it around work, like, cool. But my best friends have always been my DJ or my road manager. Like, I don't really, or people I'm collaborating with. I'm a workaholic like that. So if it's not about work, I don't hang out. I don't go to the bar. So this is my equivalent. Felipe's Garage is my equivalent of getting up and going to the bar and talking about shit with someone else who has, I guess he doesn't have badass kids, like just kids. Cookbook's out of the struggle phase that I know you're in right now, Ian. I'm in.
Yeah. Need.
This is like, yeah. And I'm a black parent too, so when like motherfuckers like, oh, wait till the terrible twos, I'm like, it's not about to be terrible for me. It's be terrible for this motherfucker, but I'm a damn sure ain't about to be terrorized by no fucking kid. I think that's a lot of African American parents. My barber said that he told his son started crying. He said, motherfucker, you don't have any feelings till you start to pay bills.
I say something similar to my kids. I go, you ain't have a vote. You don't got to vote until you pay taxes. Shut the fuck up.
Word up. Yeah, shut the fuck up, man. I say that a lot to my 9-month-old. He doesn't get shut the fuck up yet. The best part is when I think I'm being hardcore with him, and I flip him off. I do lots of shit, and he just laughs. And so anything I say to him, the louder I get is funnier to him. And that just checks me because I realize how silly I look. yelling at a child about anything.
Hey, that's therapy sometimes. So fuck it.
Fuck yeah, fuck it. And then I always have to remind myself, like, and I tell my wife, like, we are smarter, stronger, and more fit than this motherfucker. We got, how does he have us outdone?
Yeah.
How does he have us on the ropes right now?
Yeah, this shit is real, man. It's real.
Yeah, you do have to remind yourself, like, wait a second, I'm getting mad at
At a defenseless child.
yeah, like wait a second.
But sometimes it seems like you're doing shit on purpose to you. You're like, come on now. You smarter than you making it seem right now.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I wish I could. Well, I can't wait to forever. But, Elon Musk, I'm sure, is working on something where we can see these motherfuckers' thoughts. Because, yeah, he has a devious smile. He's a sneaky asshole sometimes. I know.
Well, talk to Kay. Kay teaches sign language to his baby. Sign language arguments.
Oh shit! I might have to get that.
Yeah, we did the early potty training. So give a sign for when you're gonna go to the bathroom and
sign.
Got him out of the diapers early.
And just for context, we're talking about 5 months old. We're not talking about early, like a year old.
Oh, that's where you were at, 5 months old, okay?
That's when we started, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nobody believes
already.
No, he's got a
never too late.
Yeah.
Is it on YouTube? Can I get on this?
I'm sure. I'm sure they have.
What's the name of the book?
My wife's gonna kill me because she's like, "Damn, you never remember that."
Oh, you don't remember it?
Nah, I forget the name. But
it's Google. I'm sure there's not a million baby sign language things in the world.
Yeah, it's also on the Fatherhood's IG page. We put the.
It's called The Diaper Free Baby by Christine Gross Low.
Oh, Gross Low. Okay.
Yeah.
That's your people?
Hyphenated. We're all hyphenated. Is everybody on this call hyphenated?
Yep.
Not me.
You're not hyphenated?
Nah.
Super Latino, no hyphens. You continuing the patriarchy, you evil man. How dare you? I didn't even ask. It was not happening.
Gotta do a little hyphen sometimes.
Yeah, I'm hyphenated as fuck. Well, I'm personally not, but my child is.
Right.
Definitely.
So, Merce, for other budding hip hop artists or just fathers in general, what's your mantra or the thing that gets you through, the I guess the valleys toward the peaks of fatherhood?
Yeah, what's that nugget you can leave for them?
Man, for young artists, I always say, man, if you want to make it in this industry, do not have children. That's the first thing I tell young hot rappers when I meet them. Don't have any kids. You could probably ask any rapper that I ever put on paid dues. They're asking for advice. If you don't have kids already, don't fucking do it. Because then you start making decisions based on what's better for your family, not what's better for your career or better. Even if you're a business-minded rapper, you're not making the best business decision. If you're art-minded rapper, you're not making the best art decisions when you have a child, and rightfully so. But then I had a kid slide in my DMs when I told him that and be like, well, my kids motivate me to do it. And I'm like, cool. But definitely your children and your family, if you're wired correctly, will become your motivation. And it's a little more difficult to navigate. When I'm going through my valleys, I'm always grateful that I have a place where I've built my career where I can deal with, like I said, when we got to adopt a kid, I could take time off, drop $28,000 and just go get a baby and say, okay, cancel everything. Mm-hmm. When my son died, I was able to say, yo, I got to cancel the tour. And I'm still here, Mm. So it's if you can wait. If you're already in it, I couldn't imagine building a career. But as a father to any father of the hip hop generation, I would say we come from such so a lot of us from violent and aggressive, if not even violent, just an aggressive music, aggressive background. Now all of our favorite rappers are fathers and never really rapped about it. It's okay not to like your kid, man. As long as you love them. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to yell. As long as you reset to zero and know that, I feel like I'm wrong every time I yell, but not in the moment. it's cathartic. It gets it out, and just follow it up with love, man. Like my kid, because my kid will see me now. My oldest will see me and say, the 6-year-old say, like, don't curse at my little brother. I'm like, I cursed at you, motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean? Don't say bad words to my baby brother. And I'm like, fuck you and fuck him. Everybody shut the fuck up in this motherfucker right now. He doesn't remember any of it. You know, all he knows is that his dad loves him and we're like best friends, you know? Right. Because those moments are quick, few and far between. And I still kiss my son, snuggle with him, you know, hug him, and he's 6'2" already, you know? So I, you know, just, you know, love harder, you know what I mean? Let your faults, because anger is a fault and it's ego and it's whatever, but don't feel too guilty about it. Just, you know, instead of feeling guilty, just love on your child more, man. And don't be afraid to ask questions. I'm a fucking nerd about parenting. Anybody with a good father, you know, Dave Weiner that works at Strange, I met his dad. I'm asking a million questions because I think Dave is a good 50-year-old dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who works in hip-hop and has always treated me fairly as a record executive. And I'm like, I want to know what his dad put into this guy.
That's interesting.
So I'll ask. I'll always ask. I'll be that guy. I'll see you at the bar, man. He'll be like, yo, what's up? You got a kid? Oh, what do you do? Well, you know, how do you do this? You know, don't be afraid to ask people who raise good children or who are raising good children. Even right now, okay, like, okay, what's the name of the book? Like, you know, I'm going to really check it out.
Right.
Because we're lost that sense of community. In our community, we could tell you how to make $1 million. We could tell you how to cook crack. We could tell you how to get 10 bitches. We could tell you how to, you know, soup up your car. We could tell you how to get the flyers, whatever the fuck. But rarely can we, or do we share how to be a good parent. And I think there needs to be more community around that.
That's dope.
I think I can speak for all of us, man. We definitely commend your fatherhood journey and the positive spin you're putting into the community for sure.
100%.
Word.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I think it's a dope podcast together. This is another resource to build upon.
Thanks, man.
I still got to go back and listen to the Recognize episode because I think about him often.
Yeah, he's in the thick of it too.
Yeah, people with twins.
Yeah.
Two, yeah, bro, come on. Shit is so real. But and I have to think too, if you're in the struggle we are, like, it's so worth it, man. I look at my 6-year-old all the time, man. That first 10 months wasn't shit.
Yeah.
It has been the best. Even at the worst times, it's the best time with him now.
Yeah.
I haven't got to, I'm sure when he becomes a teenager, he might become a dick, whatever. But right now, the last 5 years have been the best things I've ever done with my life.
That's it. I think we ended right there. That shit was perfect.
There it is.
All right, y'all. Thank you very much, man.
Thanks,
you,
man.
Finally got to do it. All right. Hope to see you all soon in some form or fashion.
Yep. Up.
Do it.
All right, peace.
All right,
All right,
peace.
later.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the bell.